Greetings. I'm Andrew Webb, and I will be presenting my further exploration of supporting continuous improvement through coaching. During our module on teacher evaluations and coaching, one of the posted articles titled "The Coach and the Evaluator" by Bob Channon Moran and Megan Channon Moran was explaining the difference between coaches and evaluators. They explained the role of the coach by saying, coaching invites all school employees to grow beyond those agreed-on minimums to more fully realize their potential and better serve their clients. In my teaching experience, I have not had the opportunity to work with a coach on a campus, so I was more under the impression that those two roles, the coach and the evaluator, were one and the same. After the completion of the module, it was evident to me that these roles were not the same, but I still needed to further my exploration of a coach to better understand that tool that might be available for continuous improvement on my future campus. My further studies led me to these three articles. The first was "You Can't Have a Coaching Culture Without a Structure" by Elena Aguilar. In this article, Aguilar explains 10 elements that need to be present in a coaching program for there to be success. The second was "A Principal's Guide to Supporting Instructional Coaching" by Jacy, Ippolito, and Rita M. Bean. In this article, Ippolito and Bean describe some do's and don'ts that they have picked up through their experience working with leaders in coaching programs. And the third was "What You Practice is What You Value" by Bambrick-Santoyo. In the article, he introduces a few of his action steps from his Get Better Faster book and explains some characteristics of those action steps that make them more manageable for coaches and teachers to implement. When looking at the 10 elements from Aguilar's "You Can't Have a Coaching Culture Without a Structure," I found that it could be broken up into two sections. Those that are the planning stages and those that were the implementation stages. The implementation stages still have planning that needs to be completed before the beginning of the school year, but some of these stages do require coaching to be underway. Aguilar's skeleton works as a sort of flowchart where the campus leadership will work through the process rather than skipping around in steps. In the articulated definition and vision stage, it's important for the leader to define what coaching is for the school and how this vision will be communicated to the campus. In considering the context stage, the leader must examine how coaching fits in the professional development plan for the campus to align the different sections to the campus and district's focuses. When a campus chooses a coaching model, they give a name to the type of coaching that will occur on the campus, which in part informs the campus stakeholders of the underlying values that the coaching model will use. When setting program goals, Aguilar encourages leaders to build SMART goals for the program, where the goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. To hire the right coaches, Aguilar suggests that the leader should determine what skills need to be evident when a coach is hired and which skills can be developed in the coach during the program. Some of the characteristics Aguilar shares include indicators that they know themselves, have strategies to respond to strong emotions as they arise, and are reflective, humble, and eager to improve their own practice. Now that the coach is hired, the campus must build the coaching relationship with the understanding that coaching is separate from the evaluation system, and trust must be maintained between the coach and the person being coached. To understand how coaching works, the leader and coach must understand that coaching happens in conversation. This means the coach must get to know the teacher and their goals to formulate a focus for their coaching. They then work together through the different aspects of the teacher's roles, all while the coach engages in meaningful conversations with the teacher being coached. One element that must be maintained to protect the coaching relationship is protecting confidential communication. What a teacher and coach work on together must be kept separate from the evaluator, and Aguilar makes some suggestions to keep this separate while holding the coach and teacher accountable to the coaching sessions. One such suggestion is creating a Google Doc that is shared between the coach, principal, and coachee, logging the time and date for coaching sessions and the broad area of practice they are working on. While evaluating your efforts in the coaching program can be difficult, it is important to evaluate the program and its effectiveness, which can only happen if the program goals are set and are measurable. This will lead to the final element, where the leader must establish professional development for coaches. A professional development plan must be aligned to the program's goals and designed to meet the needs of the coach. Through the implementation of these elements, leaders will find their efforts in designing a coaching culture will be more effective and successful. As I introduced before in the article, A Principal's Guide to Supporting Instructional Coaching, Jacy, Ippolito, and Rita describe some do's and don'ts they have picked up through their experience working with leaders in coaching programs. For the do's, the authors explain that coaches need to have a certain knowledge and skills to establish their role within the coaching program for the campus, which in turn defines their role on the campus. Second, the authors suggest that the coaching model, or how the coach operates within the campus, should be created with members of the campus that the coach will serve. The leader must also communicate this vision to the whole campus and reinforce this vision throughout the whole year. Third, Ippolito and Bean state that the leader and coach should create schedules that allow the coach to engage in one-on-one, small group, and large group coaching activities. By doing this, the coach can map out which teachers and groups they will work with for the following weeks and begin to develop plans for the different groups. More to that point, when the coach is able to work with small groups, it gives them the ability to facilitate a larger culture of coaching among the teachers on the campus. The authors go on to suggest that the coach and leader must regularly meet to discuss the overarching goals of the campus, such as which grade levels need additional coaching time or different supports, what resources do the coach and teachers need, and how the principal can assist in providing these resources. These meetings should not be a time for principals and the coach to discuss individual teachers. These observations should be done by the leaders separately. Ippolito and Bean's final do explains that the student needs are the place to start to determine the coaching needs for the campus. By determining what needs the students have, the coach can work with the groups of teachers that instruct these students in group or one-on-one sessions in addressing that instructional need and developing that skill. For the don'ts, the first suggestion works to define the role of the coach, a colleague who is there to support and not supervise the teachers. Supervision should be separate to ensure the coaching relationship remains between colleagues on the campus. For the second point, coaches must have time to work with teachers, so the leader should limit the additional tasks assigned to the coach. Ippolito and Bean write, "It's difficult to determine the effects of coaching when coaches don't have time to coach." Third, when coaches are seen as only working with teachers who are struggling, it lessens the likelihood that more effective teachers will go to them for support. This stigma makes it seem like the coach is not there for all teachers, when they should be available for any teacher who needs that support. Finally, coaches typically find outside research and professional development to improve their skills, but the leader should also develop ways for coaches to meet with other coaches in the district or region. This gives the coach additional resources to problem solve with other coaches to increase the opportunities for continuous improvement on the campus. In What You Practice is What You Value, author Paul Bambrick-Santoyo explains the necessity of building a common language related to strategies that are used throughout the campus. When explaining how school leaders had built successful coaching programs in their schools, Bambrick-Santoyo wrote that they built their coaching culture the same way that all cultures are built, around a shared language and a norm of practice. The author shares a sample of action steps from his book, Get Better Faster, and describes how the action steps have 3 characteristics that make them easier to develop a common language and norm of practice on the campus. By breaking the global skills down into the granular-sized action steps, it allows the teacher to master a small step and move on to the next granular step. This kind of thinking embeds in the teacher the skill of breaking larger problems down into their smaller parts. By doing this, the coach is increasing the teacher's capacity to improve their own craft. High-leverage action steps are those that make the improvement right away and help the teacher in the moment. You could think of this as getting the most bang out of your buck. Since students do not have time for newer teachers to grow through years of experience, they need the teacher to get the most growth out of the time they have with them now. Since the action steps are observable, it allows the coach the opportunity to see or hear the action step to know if the teacher is using the skill in the classroom. These 3 characteristics allow these action steps to become a part of the shared language and offer opportunities to practice those skills for a campus that chooses this coaching model. When I get to a position where I will be planning a coaching program for my campus, I must remember a few of these points. To implement a well-designed coaching program, it will be imperative as a leader to follow a set of guidelines and structures, such as those Aguilar has suggested. Using a framework such as Aguilar's ensures the program is well planned and has supports and checkpoints throughout to assist in assessing the success of the program. To build a shared vision of coaching, it will be important to use a committee approach. On this committee, I would have campus leaders and teachers to help us define our coaching vision and goals for the program. Once we have the shared vision, it will be important to communicate this with the rest of the campus. We must make our campus aware that the coach is there for everyone and should not be seen as an evaluator. They are a colleague whose focus is on helping teachers continuously improve. It's very clear that when a coaching program is successful, there are opportunities for the campus stakeholders to experience continuous improvement throughout their time working in the program, and as a campus leader, it will be one of my roles to research and improve my skills in developing coaches for my campus. Thank you very much for watching.